Hey, what is up you guys, Zero here. Welcome back to another Lorcana video. Today I have for you the third and final match of League Night. If you haven't seen the first two matches, they are up on my channel. I will link them somewhere on the screen as well. If you don't want spoilers, stop now and go check them out, or forever hold your peace. You've had your fair warning, so you better be gone by now. And we are 2-0 for the night, so we need this win to secure our perfect record for the night. We are up against Ruby Sapphire on the left, and again we are piloting Sapphire Steel on the right. That list is below as always, and hey, if you're enjoying this content so far, I would super appreciate you liking this video, and if you subscribe and hit the little notification bell, then you will be notified each and every time I upload a new one. With that all said and done, let's get into the game. So this time around, my opponent does win the role to go first. He inks and just passes. We do realize eventually that he's playing off screen, so don't worry, we will correct that in a little bit here. But for my first turn, I ink a Tamatoa and play a Popsicle. For his turn 2, he gets one jump ahead to start ramping. For me, my turn 2, I ink Hiram, and I don't actually have a 2-drop, which really sucks, especially going second here. I really need anything I can get. But yeah, on the third turn, my opponent does find his Fishbone Quill, and his ramping is, there we go, we start to correct and move closer to the camera here. But yeah, for his turn 3 play, he gets Fishbone and starts his ramp. For my turn 3, I also have a Fishbone. I'm just one step behind since I didn't get the one jump ahead on turn 2, so my opponent is currently 1 ink ahead of me. But yeah, on his following turn, he gets Hiram on play after using his Fishbone, but so that he can sacrifice it since he did not have a Popsicle to sacrifice. And yeah, my opponent is actually trying out Mulans. He told me this beforehand that he normally doesn't run Mulans in Ruby Sapphire, but you know, local tournaments, that's the moment where it's best to try things out, try new things out. But yeah, so he has Mulan here. For me, I ink my second Tamatoa before going into Aerial with 6 ink. If I remember correctly, I was kind of forced into this line with how limited my hand is. I think Aerial was the only threat I really had, but I don't really hate it. But Aerial is outputting a lot of pressure here right now. Plus, it's really hard to remove unless my opponent is running Tremaine, which I don't think he is because I didn't see the Tremaines throughout this game. So yeah, I don't think there are any Tremaines, but Aerial is sticky with Ward. That's kind of why I like her over Belle. So and she's already pressuring with 5 lore, which Belle wouldn't be able to do this early since she needs 10 ink in your ink roll before she starts to quest for 5. Ariel just needs you to have more items than your opponent, which I currently do since my opponent is missing the Popsicle and had to pop Fishbone for Hiram's effect to draw 2. But yeah, here we go. I'm inking another Tamatoa, which isn't great. That's kind of showing the state of my hand. I've drawn 3 of my 4 Tamatoas already, and right now I'm forced to ink my third one as well because I am planning to play a whole new world here. My opponent was getting a card advantage with Hiram, and I was running out of cards. I had to play it. I end up hard casting it. I paid a cost to play it instead of singing because I do want to quest with Ariel. I think having that 5 lore is more important than whatever I could play right now. But yeah, with my remaining ink, I play another Fishbone Quill. I can use it and play the subsequent Popsicle and get my 5 lore like I wanted. But yeah, this isn't really looking great because I know now I have 3 Tamatoas under, and I think in this matchup, Tamatoa is probably the most important character I have in my deck. That's why I run 4 actually, because I feel like I can contest Ruby Sapphire pretty well because I have essentially twice as many Popsicles as they do that I can. My Tamatoas are usually bigger than their Tamatoas. If everything goes well, that's the hope. But yeah, doesn't look great. I only have 1 Tamatoa left, and I can only hope that the aerials I have will put enough pressure on. But yeah, we shall see. For my opponent's turn, he is playing over Vitalisphere. There's another tech card he's trying out. But yeah, he plays that. He plays another Fishbone. And from here, it looks like he's going to use his harem to quest, and when he does, he gets to pop an item to draw to. So he's going to pop Fishbone Quill, and seeing that makes me think that he's going to use the Vitalisphere on me, because otherwise I think he would be popping the Vitalisphere. So yeah, he ends up playing another harem. And instead of using his ability to draw 2 from being played, he's going to use the Vitalisphere to give it Rush and an additional 2 powers so that it has enough attack with the Mulan that was already on the board to take out my Ariel. Very weird line to take Ariel out, but it had to be done because she was going to quest for another 5 lore, and that would have been me halfway to victory. So you have to do what you have to do to get Ariel off the board, and that appears to be what he had to do. But yeah, on my turn, I play Grandma Tala and another Grandma Tala, so I play 2 for 8 ink. And search through my deck to see if I can find some more helpful things. But yeah, I will end up inking, and I think I passed after playing Fortisphere. But yeah, after playing that, I will pass back to my opponent to continue his turn. I don't hate the spot I'm in, but I don't love it either. It was nice to get that Ariel quest early, but now she's gone. And so are 3 Tamatoas, so really my only big lore getters left in my deck are another Ariel and 1 other Tamatoa. So it doesn't look really great, especially now my opponent will play his own Tamatoa and use the Popsicle from his ability to quest with him and draw another 2 cards. After playing another Vitalisphere, he does pass back to me, and honestly my deck, I can see it has issues with dealing with big threats, and Tamatoas are one of them where I don't really have very clean ways to get rid of him. But we're gonna have to find a way to get rid of him, and probably a lot more of him, because I have a feeling that my opponent still has a lot of, or at least I haven't seen any go into ink. They may have been getting Fishbone, but who knows. But yeah, on my turn, I play out my Lucky Dime. I feel like in general Ruby Sapphire has very little means of item hate. Some of them do run Judy Hops, but besides that, I'm struggling to think of another way they can get rid of items. So I usually like to play my dime out first before any of the characters I need to quest with, because characters they can remove very, very easily, and items not so much. But yeah, after playing Hiram, I pass back to my opponent, and he is going to quest with his Tamatoa to search for items, as he does, and he also has his own dime out, which is not great for me. Having Tamatoa and dime, I do have my own dime, but I know a lot of my big questers are out of commission, so he has his Tamatoa and dime online now, so I'm gonna have to find a way to get rid of these guys pretty quick. Yeah, but my opponent is just continuing to ink, continuing to quest, and he's gonna leave his items up. He has been drawing all day. Hiram is also another character I have trouble removing with this deck, so he's been having a field day drawing and playing items and playing Tamatoas, and I'm out here struggling, trying to figure out how to get rid of all of them. But yeah, on to my turn. I think for a bit here I'm trying to figure out the best method of getting rid of everything I'm seeing here. But yeah, my last Tamatoa comes on board. I found it. This is the last one though, so once he's gone, I will be out of luck. I won't have any other very cheap ways to be questing. I think that's just unfortunate a little bit, because just the luck of the draw, when you draw them early and you're forced to also a whole new world, you just have to ink them, you have to get rid of them. So a lot of them had to go under, but I have my Tamatoa on the board now. I will have to use my dime here because he's probably not going to be staying very long, so I have to make sure I get the lore out of him before he disappears. Not only that, I have to make sure his Tamatoa goes away because he's threatening lethal right now. So with Hiram, I'm gonna sing Along Came Zeus, and I will trade Grandma Tala to do the last 3 damage needed to take out that 8 health monstrosity. And with my remaining Grandma Tala, I will take out the already hurt Hiram, so that yeah, at least the board looks kind of great for me. And here I just gotta pray that he cannot remove my board, but I'm not really hopeful. No Be Prepareds have came down. I haven't seen any Be Prepareds yet, so high chance that he has it. And this looks like a great board to play it on, where you only have Harem, so you can draw and then be prepared. It seems to be the line of play that will probably happen, and I'm pretty sure it does if I remember correctly. Yeah, and then once that's down, I just hope for aerial. That seems to be the only way to gain. Well, I'm at 14, so it's not too bad. If I get a 2 lore quester, I can threaten lethal the following turn. If I play a 2 quester and quest with a dime, that could be the case, but my opponent has a lot of ink now. I have a lot of ink, so I know he has a lot of ink too. So after the Be Prepared, he can probably put on another threat. Yeah, there it is. There's the Be Prepared. I was pretty sure it was coming down. And following that, if he gets the play, which I'm pretty sure he does, yes, he gets a little baby Sisu, which is 2 lore pips on there, so he can also dime it for some more lore. And now it's another hope where I have to find a way to get rid of this to even have a chance to stay in this game. So yeah, going into this turn, good news and bad news. Good news, with just Sisu on the board, he doesn't have lethal yet. He can lore for 4 right now. So yeah, the bad news is if he plays anything with 3 lore, then the game's over. So yeah, I play a whole new world here to fish. I'm trying to look for ways to get rid of Sisu, or look for, well, here's the mistake I made too, where I am fishing for Ariel too, because I think I need her to win, because I can feel the clock like coming at me right now. What I should have realized is Ariel will just get me to 19. It's not enough to win the game. I should not be fishing so hard to look for her. And I did make a mistake, I know, because when I played a whole new world, I did have a Baboom in my hand. I should have Baboomed before whole new worlding, because then I had a higher chance of finding something to kill Sisu with. Which I think I do find. I think on this current hand I have 2 Tinkerbells, so I could have used the rest of my ink, if I'm counting correctly, to play both of the Tinkerbells to end the game. Or not end the game, sorry, to take Sisu out and prolong the game. But I think in the long run it does not end up mattering, because he did have the big Sisu in his hand. Even if I took Sisu out, it would have just prolonged the game just for a little while. And I did not have the following ink. If I did do that play, if I baboomed into 2 Tinkerbells, then I would have not had enough ink to find my dime or use my dime. So yeah, I think it was a lost cause. That game was over. Rough game, really rough game, but we can only hope the second game goes better. Alright, so going into game 2, my thoughts going in. First off, I need Tomato. I've come to realize it hurts very much without him. And I also feel like this is a game of dimes. You know, like the first to get a very good dime on the board will be in a much better spot. I do have one failsafe in the one beast that I'm playing. If I happen to have the beast when the dime is out, then I at least have a chance of, you know, if it comes to that. We're not even sure if we're there yet, but if it comes to the situation where we're having a dime off, if I get the beast at least, that would be a huge leg up. Makes me almost think about playing more beasts. I put the beast in there originally just to try out, but yeah, if it performs well, I'm probably gonna add more into this deck, because this is for sure not a final list or anything like that. Definitely subject to change, but yeah, into this game we both I get a Fortisphere on my first turn, my opponent gets Popsicle, and I play Scuttle on the following turn. Scuttle did what Scuttle does best, and that is to whiff. I do not get an item off of him, and my opponent gets his 1 jump ahead on turn 2. On the following turn, I don't have a Quill. I have a 1 jump ahead though, and I make a mistake here, so I didn't have any other plays, so I use 1 jump ahead. I hard casted it instead of singing it, since I had the ability to do so with the spare ink. I forgot to quest his Scuttle though. It's a minor mistake, but you know, that usually adds up, so definitely something to keep in mind for the following, or not following, for the next time or any time after. Don't forget to quest when you can, it's important. But yeah, my opponent does have a Quill, which is upsetting, but on my following turn, I will play Grammatala to search and hopefully find something to get me out of this mess. My opponent is ramping a little bit better than I am, not to a degree that's upsetting, but having a Quill, well, when your opponent has a Quill and you don't, it will just, you know, it's not nice. It's not nice at all. So definitely hope things turn around for us. But yeah, on my opponent's following turn, he gets a Grammatala played out, and he will continue to ramp with the Quill that he has and I don't. And what else we got? Nothing else. So it's nice. It's not too threatening of a board yet. It will start to get worse the more he's ramping though. So yeah, I get my Hiram on this turn, so at least I get to see some more cards here. So I still don't have a Quill on board though, so I will be inking much more slowly than him. So that's something to keep in mind, something to be wary about. But yeah, for my final, nope. I remember I was thinking about developing my brain there to search, but I ended up deciding no, the ink is way more important than searching for 2 cards, because I think I'm running low on inkable, or yeah, low on inkable cards. So there's no point developing my brain if all I'm looking for is ink anyway. So I might as well just ink the develop your brain instead of playing it. But yeah, with Grammatala, I sing Along Came Zeus just to take out his Grammatala. I'm just assuming I need to start using the cards in my hand, and I assume I have more Along Came Zeuses in my hand, which is why I'm more flexible with using them. My opponent does get a Brawl, and he brawls Hiram. Not to be a spoiler, but that happens comically a lot in this game, where my Hirams are gonna constantly get beat up by the brawls. But yeah, moving on back to my turn. We're not in a great spot. Oh, well, now it's better. But yeah, I was gonna say my opponent has a Quill and a Hiram, and I have neither after the brawl. But it is nice that I had the Beast there, so I can break the Quill at least to stop and quench this bleeding just a little bit. My opponent has already ramped quite a bit though, so it's not the best play in the world, but it's nice to have for sure. But yeah, my opponent is going to quest with Hiram here, and after doing so, he will play another Quill, and from the Quill he's going to ink, and from there he's going to use his remaining ink to be prepared. Honestly, not too bad. I like that for me, because he took out Beast, Scuttle, and a Grammatala. I'll take it to get a Be Prepared off the board. I have so many more threats that I'd rather not get hit by that, so seeing that come down this early is nice. Also, it's early enough where he didn't have enough ink to like put more threats onto the board. So we have that going for us. On my turn, I have Hiram to draw, and I have how far I'll go to search. So I search and continue to ramp, and it's suddenly looking pretty good for me. I'm not too far behind, so that's great to see. On my opponent's turn, he will also play Hiram. He has to sack his Quill though instead of a Popsicle, and he also plays how far I'll go. He's just copying me now, as it seems to be. And here we go, another brawl. So, you know, Hiram, Flavorsham, it seems it's his destiny to get beaten up in this matchup. Get brawl and kicked out of the Snuggly Duckling. But yeah, back to my turn. It's time to put on the pressure once more. I play a Popsicle and an Aerial, and onto a board where there were no items. We had both pitched all of our items to draw cards. So I am ahead now. Aerial's effect is active, so I will be luring for 5 if he can't do anything about it, which it doesn't look like he can, because on his turn, he just plays Baby Sisu and passes back to me after questing with Hiram. So looking great. It's kind of signaling to me that he doesn't really have a threat, or he doesn't really have a way to deal with Aerial, which is nice because I am going to here play my dime. I found my dime first, which, like I said, is paramount to this matchup. Now that I have Dime, I get to use it on Ariel and gain the 5 lore, and I'm going to take a risk here, seeing that all he did was play Sisu on me, and I think he has like 1 or 2 cards. I think he has 2 cards in his hand. It's looking pretty great. I'm going to just, I think I had a Fire the Cannons and 1 free ink, so I'm just going to shoot Sisu with it because I think I was traumatized from the last game where I forgot to do that, so I'm just going to do it just in case here. But yeah, I'm going to leave Ariel up. I'm not going to quest with Ariel because right now in my hand I don't have a huge lore go-getter like Ariel. And I'm going to bank on the fact that he can't get rid of Ariel this turn, and I get to Dime her again. And if I do that and quest with her this turn, I will go up to 19, which is just 1 away from victory. And since he's only at 3 lore, there's no way he's going to catch me. So that's kind of my mentality there and the hope. And my opponent plays Tamatoa on his turn and like a how far I'll go, but just the fact that he's not taking Ariel out is basically a win for me. I can already tell this game is going to end in my victory, so I'm just making sure I Dime. I don't want to mess that up. With my remaining ink, I have 5 to let it go, take out the Tamatoa, just make sure there's no shenanigans going on before questing of Ariel here. And then now, if he can't win this turn, which there's no way that he doesn't have any items, Tamatoa is not a threat if he gets it. He doesn't even have a Dime out even if he had Tamatoa. So yeah, I know I have a character in my hand, so this game is all but over. We're just kind of going through the motions as he's trying his best to get rid of Ariel while he still can. But even if Ariel's gone, I just need the 1 lore, which any character will get me, because Dime, once I exert it and pay 2 ink, I will gain the lore of any character I play, so that's all I need. He does have Maui to take Ariel out, but it's a little too late. I show that I have Cogsworth, and once I do, that's the game. We can move on to game 3 for the first time this night. So my thoughts again. I know this is kind of a jank build of Ruby Sapphire, like we haven't seen any Tremaines or any Madame Medusas, which I'm not even sure what they run more of nowadays, but we haven't seen either. But I still think my deck isn't, it's hard. It's definitely not a really easy matchup to do, but I feel like, well, a lot of my characters that I want to keep on the board are immune to Medusa because I have a lot of ward characters, and on top of the ward characters, I also have characters that are too big for Medusa to hit. So yeah, and then Tremaine is of course a concern, but if I know it's there, you can play around it. Yeah, and I just don't hate the matchup. It's probably the worst matchup against my deck, but don't hate it as much as last set. Last set was impossible to deal with, but at least now I kind of know what I'm gonna work towards and like what I'm looking for to overcome it. But yeah. We're into game 3 now, the first game 3 of the night, and we're both off to kind of slow starts here. We each get a popsicle on turn 1, but on his turn 2 he only has an ice block, and for my turn 2 I only have Fort of Sphere, so no 1 jump ahead, no ramping to 4 on turn 3, but on his turn 3 he does get his Fishbone Quill, which is nice. It's always nice to ramp early, and I also have my Fishbone Quill, so we didn't get our 1 jump aheads, but we both have our quills, so we are trying to play faster. I do remember we are playing faster right now because we are on to game 3, and this has been a control matchup, so it has been lasting a while. The round is going to run out soon, and we're kind of really aware of that. And also, everyone was kind of leaving already. This is the last game of the night, so a lot of people were talking to each other, and we're already deciding to leave. So we wanted to get out of there too. It's been a long night, and we also want to beat the clock because a draw is whatever at this point, but I think we're both going to try and see if we can really edge out the win here. So yeah, that's kind of what's going through our heads right now. We both get our Hirims out, and he also gets a Mulan the 2-drop Mulan, another one out as well. We don't see this card a lot, so the ability of Mulan is when you play an action, she gets 2 strength for the turn, for every action, I believe. So there we go, another brawl, because my Hirams are not allowed in this Snuggly Duckling. They will promptly get kicked out, and we see that again. So yeah, here we are once again. He has 2 quills out this time, and a Hiram. I lost my Hiram, but I also have 1 quill out. So he will be ramping faster as he normally does, and we're just going to have to hope that we can just keep up to the best of our ability right now. It is nice though that we have our own quill here, so at least we can fight back. And I actually play 1 jump ahead here, so I'm really trying my best to keep up with the ramp. I know how this game is going to end. It's going to be who gets to stack as much as possible in the end, because we are both just looking for that big Tamatoa or the first dime play. We're just looking to explode into victory here, because yeah, our decks aren't really going for the slow lore gain. I mean, we can, but the way we're playing right now, it looks like we have a bunch of 1 lore questers right now. That's not gonna cut it. We're just looking for a way to really just end very quick. So like right now he's 4 lore ahead of me with all these tiny questing. I'm not too concerned. It's really gonna be who gets the dime first, who gets the Tamatoa first, and when I get my there's my dime. So that's nice. I do get the dime first, and when my Tamatoa drops, it's gonna be huge. But yeah, so with my Grandma Tala, I'm gonna sing Along Came Zeus just to get rid of the Sisu. I don't want any funny business going on here, and if I have a big enough hand, he becomes a problem. And even if I don't, he gets a good shift target for his big Sisu. I don't want to deal with it. But yeah, I'm gonna stick to my tactic here. I'm gonna play dime first before my characters, because again, haven't seen any Judy Hops, so I'm not worried. I don't think he has item hate. I'm just gonna play dime first, and then I will use the dime to start gaining lore like quickly. That's the idea here, because he can't remove my character before I get the dime off on it. So I generally want to have the dime on the board first before my character in this kind of situation. So yeah, dime is already on board. So I get Tamatoa dropped here, who is gigantic. Here I was thinking about playing the Fortitude Sphere, but then I realized that I don't have another inkable card. That is the only inkable card in my hand, which means I can't play it because I needed an extra ink to be able to play it. So yeah, I run that back. Instead, I Fishbone Quill something else, keep the Fortitude Sphere in my hand for later, and I will just dime for the sweet 6 lore right now. And my opponent is going to have an answer for this Tamatoa here, because his Tamatoa is tiny. I'm not too worried about it. I don't have to answer it right now. He has Hirams too. If he has to draw, even better for me, because he has to look for a way to get rid of this Tamatoa. If he's getting rid of items, that's just doubly good for me. So I'm looking really great right now. I feel like, because here's the thing. Like I said, it's going to be who's ahead on the board with the very paramount items. And I mean cards, sorry, paramount cards, Tamatoa, the dime, and big questers. So yeah, he's forced to quest with both of his Hirams to look for an answer, and he finds it. He finds it, be prepared. He's going to sing it with Tamatoa, because it's better to use Tamatoa there with no items to do that. He gets another Tamatoa to play, to search for that Popsicle and play the Popsicle. So he's back on the board. He's trying to build up a threat with his Tamatoa very successfully. But yeah, I'm still feeling kind of good. I just have to find an answer to Tamatoa or something to just threaten harder. I have a whole new world here, so I'm going to search. I believe I played this because my hand wasn't good. Like I had a lot of cards, but it wasn't something that could immediately answer Tamatoa or put a threat on the board, and I need that right now. But here's the debut of Audrey Ramirez, which I have yet to have played this night. She is a strange card, and I'm sure a lot of people don't know what she does, but what she does is when she quests, she readies an item. So I'm actually threatening lethal right here, where I guess the threat here is I actually do have an aerial in my hand, and if I played it, she would quest for 5 as long as I am ahead in items against my opponent. and the threat here is that once I play the aerial, I can use the dime on her. I will use Audrey to ready the dime again, and I'll dime her again for the victory. My opponent doesn't know that though, but he does play a lot of items, which actually nullifies Ariel's effect as of right now, because he has 6 items to my 5. But even then, if I had Tamatoa instead, that would also be victory. So either way, he sees Audrey as a threat and hits her with the be prepared. I think we do actually make a mistake here. We are playing very fast, and I did not notice that he had spammed the board with items. I was so laser focused on trying to figure out how to get the lore here on the board that while playing here, I'm gonna play Hiram, and that's actually counterproductive because I need items on the board. I'm fishing for something though, but either way, I play Ariel here, and I don't think I realized that I was down on items, because I am so rarely down on items that I actually don't have the 5 lore here. I think I thought I did, and I think my opponent wasn't checking very closely on that too, but he thinks I have lethal here, which I'm just barely a little bit off anyway, but he is here fishing for board clear just to get Ariel off the board, because yeah, he needs to be prepared or something to get off anyway. Even if he didn't search for it to the extent that he is, he can't get rid of Ariel without it, and he doesn't have a dime, so I would be able to outrace him anyway. So I don't think it was a fatal mistake. I think at the end of the day I would have won anyway, but yeah, something to think about, something to remember in the future. But yeah, I take the win here. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Ciao.